It is incredibly important to understand what makes drumlins if we are to interpret the many landscapes they cover. So we are going to look at two types of drumlins that defy the glacier origin. The first is when they are grouped together as a cluster. They overlap each other and are not in the same straight line as the more linear examples. The accepted idea is that drumlins are primarily formed through subglacier deformation, which just means the bottom of a moving glacier shapes them. So if the bottom of a glacier has grooves, then as it moves across the land it could make straight drumlins. But these group drumlins do not conform to a straight path. Instead, they overlap and are separated by valleys that wrap around the outline. So now let's consider the more ridiculed but very reproducible theory for drumlin origin, and that is water flow. In this river, we see exactly how drumlins are sculpted. A zone of turbulence wraps around them, which is responsible for the valleys around their perimeter. And it shows how they can arise in clustered groups. The second type that defies glacial origin is when they are shaped in asymmetrical teardrops. A glacier has no mechanism for this asymmetry. But in the river, we see this feature being formed. When the water flow has a curving trajectory, in this case from water being pushed away from the bank, it causes this asymmetrical teardrop drumlin to be made. But let's listen to a paleoglaciologist's explanation.
So, in this sandbox here, with the city stripped away, we can see these hills called drumlins. And what you've got to imagine, the ice, maybe a kilometre thick, was bulldozing and ploughing its way across this landscape. And you might, in a more boring world, expect it to just plane all the dirt away and just end up with a flat box. But what I think is quite miraculous is as the ice was flowing, these blister-like landforms grew and they have this neat pattern.
First of all, his expectation was for ice to plane it flat, because that's what glaciers are observed to do, and they leave a moraine when they're done. Then he gives absolutely no explanation for how a glacier could sculpt these, but there they are, so it must have been from ice. These are all shaped by the precision of water flow and its wrapping turbulence. Since glaciers don't flow with turbulence, no mechanism can be stated. But it doesn't matter how reproducible the fluid motion theory is, it will never be accepted because of its implications, which is vast sheet water flow over Canada, the northern US, over the UK, South America, and many other landscapes even at low latitudes.